We use the mnemonic MAD t-shirt to help us remember the elements of music. These are all of the words that we use when we're describing what we're listening to and playing. In part 1, we are going to be thinking about just two of the elements, melody and articulation. Melody means the same as tune. So what we're talking about here is how the pitch is organised, how high and low notes are put together to make a melody. The register of the music is how high or low the notes are. We might talk about the register being very low or the register being high. We might describe a piece of piano music as being played in the high register of the piano. The range of a piece of music is the distance from the lowest note to the highest note. It might be the range of a piece of music, or it might be the range of an instrument or a voice. Here you can see a diagram that shows the different ranges of different types of voice. So you might say something like, Mariah Carey has a wide vocal range. A sequence is a pattern of notes that repeats, ascending or descending. The example that you can see at the moment is an ascending sequence because each time the melody is repeated at a higher pitch. So you might say the melody is made from a sequence. You might even say the melody is sequential. Next, we're going to think about how melodies move, how one note goes to the next note. First of all, we're going to think about scalic movement. This just means that the notes go up or down, one by one, going to the next door neighbour note. Next, we're going to think about broken chords. Block chords are when you play all of the notes of the chords at the same time. But broken chords are when you play the notes one at a time. Next, when we're thinking about the movement of notes, we can identify whether the notes are moving by step or by leap. When they're moving by step, they're just going up or down by one note, moving to a next door neighbour note. If they're moving by leap, they're moving further than that, so you're actually jumping over notes to get from one to the next. Most melodies are a mixture of step and leap. Ornaments are when you add extra notes to decorate the melody. So what you can see on the screen now is a very simple melody. But it's been decorated in different ways. Ostinato and riff mean exactly the same thing. A melodic ostinato is when you've got a repeating pattern that's a melody. So here we've got a little pattern that just repeats to make a melodic ostinato or a melodic riff. Next, we're going to move on to articulation. Articulation is all about how the notes are played. Strumming is when you're on a guitar or a ukulele, and it's when you're playing all of the notes of the chord at the same time. Finger picking is when you're playing individual notes of the chord, one at a time. Sustained notes are notes that are held on. You might also describe chords as sustained if they're held on. Stab is a short accented chord. Staccato means that the notes are short and detached. Legato means that the notes join smoothly together. Slurred is when, on a voice or a wind instrument, you go from one pitch to the next without articulating the new note. An example of this is in the Christmas carol Ding Dong Merrily on High, when you get to the chorus and you sing the really long Gloria, and there's lots and lots of different notes that are highlighted in yellow here on the glaw of Gloria. This is what it might sound like on a wind instrument. Pizzicato is a word that applies to when you're playing a violin or a viola or a cello, and it means that you're plucking the strings rather than playing them with a bow. Arco literally means bow in Italian, so it refers to when on a violin or a cello or a viola or a double bass you're using the bow to play the strings rather than plucking them. Accents are notes or chords that are louder than the surrounding notes, so they stick out. They're marked in the music with a little arrowhead above the notes.